Mondays through Fridays, 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. in the newsroom. You can't afford to miss it.
A very blessed Tuesday afternoon, and welcome to the Tuesday edition of In the Newsroom. Well, first working day of the week, and so it's the first edition in the week. My name is Oladayola Nipekon, and like I usually say, Tuesday Veterans Edition, as I call it, because they're always around, prompt, punctual, and I keep on praying for them that they will going to be in good health. Amen. To be part and parcel of that which they left behind, and we are trying to see if we can continue to follow those good steps they left behind. Like I said, welcome to the Tuesday edition of In the Newsroom, the Veteran Edition. I'm being surrounded by veterans, like I said. Let me quickly introduce, before I go into the topics, let me introduce the veterans in the house. Adeto is Smollett Chitu Komokenu Alam. The other name, I'll leave it to his brother to see it. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you very much. Happy May Day. Not in arrears. Happy May Day.
Thank you, sir. Because we are seeing the we are seeing the. I also have Mr. Fadipo. Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much. And you did mention Abiodun and
I've said it that you guys
he left it over to you.
I've said it that I'm just giving you that. You know much about him.
Thank you.
You know what? If you permit me, one day I look forward to meeting the governor one-on-one.
Okay.
And tell him I am the man with the scent, longer name.
It's a conscious
and he came to meet me on it.
Okay, that's true.
Meeting him because he's Nuruddin. I mean, Ademola Nuruddin Jackson. I would tell him
that somebody has
more than
before you.
Yes. We have not met.
And my brother is also here. He also a serious veteran, and decided to leave the job, to leave the civil service first.
Where from that adjective, serious? Serious veteran. Are you doubting?
No. Why should I know now.
The veteranship on his own accord.
No, I'm not doubting.
So don't qualify it with any adjective.
I think I can, because we know each other even than you are our serious. I know what I'm saying.
Mr. Moderator. A retiree is a retiree. He has done it for how many years? This is the 11th year.
Decade.
So who has it?
I'm going strong.
And it's not easy. It's not easy to be a retiree.
Now my seriousness. Now you are just buttressed by seriousness. That is trying to make it.
You were complaining that my tummy is.
I thought you're right. I know it's time for you.
Yes.
The lamentation by the NSC of the ordeal of Nigerian workers.
Is wrote because that is what is expected of them on an annual basis, that they must say something. However, how committed have they been towards ameliorating the suffering of the Nigerian workers? Don't forget, sir, that in 2014-2015, while Jonathan was trying to recontest, that when the rallies about the misgovernance, in quotes, of Jonathan administration, as far as subsidy removal and the rest of them were concerned, Labour was part of it. Organized Labour, civil societies and all the rest of them matched with Buhari and the rest of the other political gladiators to say that subsidy was a scam. At that time, there were rallies at Ojota. Musicians were called, people were fed to say Jonathan has failed in that regard. Now, there is nothing wrong if somebody has been a part of a miscalculation or misjudgment to say sorry.
Okay.
Organized Labour has not said sorry to his workers. Do you know that wages has not increased and everything has gone up like 3-4-fold? And Labour is supposed to have been at the arrowhead of complaining about this. Now they are saying this when the new administration is supposedly coming. Where was their voice all along?
Okay. I'm coming to you. The place of the Nigerian civil servants in a depressed economy, and taking it from what Larry just said, a new leadership of NSC just came in, and we are also expecting a new administration. Can we use this forum as an agenda setting for the incoming administration on the plight of Nigerian workers?
I think before we do that, let me quickly point out that May Day is supposed to be a distress call. Save us all. So I'll put it. So I don't see anything wrong every year when you hear workers crying out, save us all, save us all.
And making requests.
Making requests. But be that as it may, if it were the Labour Party that won the presidential election now, it would have been a different kettle of fish. Maybe we wouldn't have had Labour crying out like this. Or maybe they would have cried out like this.
Or maybe they would have cried more.
Or more.
Okay.
Because they were shouting then that the Labour Party belongs to them.
Yeah, okay. So they would
Yes.
have cried more.
So now, as it is now that the man who's supposed to be coming into the helm of affairs now happens to be a man in their opposite party.
Okay.
I think they are crying out now will be more. Because they've been crying out before that they were not served right in terms of personal politics. Now they are shouting more now that, well, their plight as workers have not been met. But something here bothers me. I've never seen a year that the labor, the civil service or the labor union has said government have done well on May Day and trying to eulogize that government.
Okay.
Every year in, year out, it will complaints, blames, requisitions, and all whatnot.
Okay.
So I want to now conclude that there's no amount of energy any government can put in to serve the civil servants or to serve the civil service or labor that would assuage them.
Okay. As well, I want to take it from where you just stopped now. That labor will continue to ask.
Yeah.
Is there? Should we criticize labor for asking for more in the face of in the face of high cost of living, shelter, fuel subsidy, all those things.
Yes, ordinarily on the face value,
yes,
we cannot complain.
Okay.
For their complaints.
Okay.
But where were they all these years? In the last 8 years.
They have always been.
They
have always been.
Oh no, wow. What I'm saying, no,
yes.
It is not as if they don't. It's a recurring decimal. What has
when they spoke of 30,000, many said it has not been paying. So
that's what I'm saying. You are saying the same thing, only you have not taken your time to understand me.
Okay.
Where were they?
Okay.
You have been crying. Government is not doing anything.
Okay.
Why would you have to wait till?
Or government is doing something that's not enough for them.
So they have waited far too long. They should have taken some than what they are doing now. That is what I mean by it is their right to complain because everybody is suffering in this country today. In the last 8 years, it has not been very good for Nigerians. The younger generations, they are the worst off because they never saw the good times that we saw. And our own good times in the 70s and 80s cannot be equated with those who had scholarship in reading in the 50s and 60s and the like.
Scholarship abroad.
So yes, scholarship abroad. I say with the exit of Sumano, Baba Sumano, today 80-something years old, 23 or so, who is the labor leader? Maybe we can say, okay, Oshiomhole did much.
Yes.
Okay. But he left labor and he has got governor for 8 years and he has left governance in the last almost 8 years. So in the last 16 years that he left office as president, what has been the lot of the Nigerians? They have not championed a good cause. That is what I am trying to say. That where were they? It's not okay. They shouldn't make it's an annual ritual that on the 1st of May you can.
Whatever anybody in the last, we call minimum wage, has been lost to inflation that was 9.8 according to Bureau statistics to now 22.7 inflation now, and the consumer price index also reported at batch last 2 months ago 17-year high in terms of inflation, and according to them in 2015 fuel was 87, today 196 to 20, but some places 235.
Didn't it reach
cooking gas 800, and now something else.
Now,
an electricity tariff, and let me just give that, there's no way to take it. Electricity tariff from 68 naira, now 68 naira from 27 naira.
So, when you look at the whole of these statistics you have given us, it goes to show that one, the labor unions have been redundant. They have not shown capacity, because if you want to go to people to ask for something, you must go with superior arguments. If 8 years ago we were buying fuel at 87 naira, it is the cost of the PMS that will determine your transportation to work. And when your 30,000 minimum wage is factored, you look at what's the basic, what's transport allowance, what's housing allowance. These are some of the things that adds up to give you your minimum wage. In other words, your housing allowance is 5,000. Your one room that you are staying as a 30,000 naira earner is now 15,000 per month from 5,000. That's one. Your transport cost to work, at the end of the day, that 30,000 does not even pay for your room and transport alone. So how do you feed on a daily? Because cost of food, like you rightly said, has gone. These are some of the things you must tell government, that you are saying you don't want corruption, you don't want people to steal, but you have not made anything available for people to live, to even survive as minimum wage earner. So at the end of it all, nothing has added to the life of Nigerian worker, but the leadership. Like we were rightly saying, Hassan Sumonu's days. Hassan Sumonu was there when Buhari was there as military head of state. A lot of other people have led Labour. Buhari is still back there politically in the scene. So it means where things are supposed to give is not happening. A lot of young people have 2-3 degrees now. They are not factored as to their mind, because if I have a degree, I think government should add some of us into the labor force. People are retiring, they are not adding them up by number of people leaving. That's wrong statistically, because we are not helping those who are supposed to buffer up the labor force. So more people are in employment. So if you look at the statistics of unemployment, it's going up on the high. So pensioners like us, who are supposed to enjoy our retirement benefits, are now spending it to still sustain our young people who are supposed to be taken care of. So all of this has shown that planning by reason of the labor unions influence. When you go and tell people and quarrel, people will say, where are the facts? These are some of the things that Oshomole did. Although he would do that at the rallies before labor unions, but it was at the end of the day people knew he had also a meeting point with the political class. For him as a labor leader, he became a governor. We expected all the best for workers.
There was a gap.
There was a gap between that time. No, what I'm saying is, but there is a meeting point before that happened. And when it happened, it was not the best in terms of delivery of service to labor unions in the state too. Well, they had complaints too.
That's it. Man will always complain.
But the point is, our institutions like the labor organizations, I've told them, I said this severally, that look, I am surprised. In Senate climbs, if you had like America, there was a time it was $5 per hour, which means if you work 8 hours, that's $40 in a day. Okay. At the end of it all, when they have to make policies that has to do with international acceptance of the dollar and exchange value to other currencies, America will now go, they went from $5 to $13 per hour, which means when you are doing some things to, reflate your economy, you must also consider your workers and your people too.
Okay.
That was not done here. That's the point.
Father, I'm coming to you. One of the requests made yesterday by the NSA president was the call for retirement age from 60 to 65 and 40 years, whichever comes first, and that should go round.
You see, let me just say something. Again, I always say that whatever the case may be, no matter the amount of percentage you use or the indices you use to determine wage increase will never assuage the yearnings of workers, except you reflate the economy, except to bring in social infrastructural measures into the economy. No matter how much you earn, everything will rise with it.
Like provision of buses?
Like provision of buses, provision of housing schemes, and things like that. A lot of things that you can do for the masses, for the populace, not only workers, but for everybody. If you can eat 3 square meals in a day, conveniently, that has taken care of so many things. It don't give you worries. But the moment you start talking about wage increase will never ever, because when you are talking about wage increase, the pepper seller, the garri seller, the rice seller, they are already waiting for you. They will just spiral their own prices too, and that's where the problem lies. But any government that wants to make sure that its workers are comfortable and will not complain should take social infrastructure measures very, very seriously. And that's the only way to cushion the effect of whatever problems that we have in society. There was a time in Canada, maybe last year or the year before, workers were saying that what they were earning was too high. The doctors were saying that they should bring their wages down. It will never happen in Nigeria here. That was because they have a lot of things to lean on to be comfortable. Housing, transportation, a lot of things. In Nigeria here, I can't say the reason why. Maybe the state government should just try something. Like the government state is trying now, but it's not. It's still doing it. Let them in here provide mass transit buses. People no longer need their cars to go out all the time, and the marketplace will not be flooded with a lot of cars. And you now go into, you get a place, you know where the buses are leaving, you know where they're going, you have routes and things like that. They will never happen.
Will they be regular?
No, it's not a matter of being regular. It's a matter of the mind. If you set your mind to it that you want to do it, you can do it. But nobody is addressing it.
Let me back to you. We talk of reflating the economy. And we are talking about reflating the economy. We will talk of bringing down cost of social services, electricity, making water available, housing scheme, whatever it is, and prices of goods and commodities. I keep on asking the question, and somebody also asked, why are the workers that lay the golden eggs, why are they always, and like really said, workers are going to ask for when, like the statistics given by NBS, nothing seems to be coming down from the government circle, but adding burden. Like the issue of the electricity used to be 27, now 68.
It is government, the selfishness of people in the elite class of leadership. Once I and I were coming this afternoon, we raised an issue and said, what's the first thing Tinubu should do? I said, bring down the high cost of governance, particularly the high jumbo pays. I said that Nigeria, we have constitutionalized it. And so everybody, these people go to the National Assembly and go to become ministers simply because of what they do. So they can't change that. They said Tinubu cannot change that. What Tinubu can change is to bring down, be interested in the average young man or woman. Get people food to eat. When food is cheaper, everything will begin to come down. So that should be the president-elect's first agenda for us. Look, when food is out of it, we are not saying bring it to so that we can be buying as we used to buy bread, five naira. No, but let it be at the level. Don't let it go beyond where it is now.
Comparatively low level, like other countries in the world.
not be beyond what, if we have come to terms with the reality that things go on. But I tell you, if in the next 1 year we can continue to buy gari, maize, and at the same level that we have been buying, it doesn't skyrocket again, we will say the government has tried.
Okay.
The same thing, you see, infrastructure. That is where I think the next government must do its best. Whether you like it or not, the cost of governance or governing Nigeria must come down.
Okay.
If it doesn't come down, we the ordinary people are still better off than the liberal. They cannot make ends meet. So if you have to checkmate the excesses of the elite, raise money from there so that you can be like the book we read when we were young children, Robin Hood. He robs the rich to pay the poor.
Okay. Lani, I will be back to you, and I'm going to, this time around, one of these requests also made by Ajero was the issue of gratuities. According to him, the complete payment scheme did not remove payment of gratuities. But what do we have? He's saying, look, senior citizens have done their best for the country and for the service, and so we are still denying them their gratuities.
That's where I was actually coming to. It's a double talk when you are saying let's extend years of service, and at the same time we want to talk about collection of gratuities. The essence of it is that at 60, people are still supposedly active, they can still run around. When they are leaving service at 60, ensure their gratuities are ready for them to invest. So they can go straight into an investment, and some other younger person will not enter at level 17 that person is going out. So that person's salary can conveniently accommodate 2 more people, new graduates, to take service. Do you understand? But you're asking for 65 extension, at the same time you're asking for gratuity. But you see, what happens most is that people now retire at 60, 10 years after they have not taken a dime of their gratuity.
That's what Ajani was saying. So I wasn't talking of he was talking of those who are already out of the service, but yet
that's what I'm saying. So if he's now asking for extension of service,
have to extend it.
don't extend. If somebody is 60, is entitled to 20 million. If he has not lost his mind, that person should be able to invest his 20 million. Even if he says 10 million, he can get immediately.
In the conditions of
And he will do well and sustain himself. And the little pittance that comes monthly will just be a running cost for his person.
There are those who retired at 60 have not been able to collect.
They have not been able to get it. So that's the point I'm making now. Ajero as a person was the leader of the electricity. Those who retired, who were forcefully retired under him, still have claims they have not collected in the 8 years of this administration. Now he has become and at some point those people felt neglected, that because they are retired, his concern, he says, is about workers who are still in service. So definitely they should take their case to NUP, because they have become pensioners now. They retired at your end, they have not paid them their allowances fully, they just gave them part of it when Jonathan wanted them off. Now it has happened, they have not been able to get what they were expecting. So you can imagine how those people will be surviving now. How they will be surviving now. In the last 8 years, they have been at it. How do we get, now you have left, you are now becoming an NLC, and you are talking about, but something must be said at May Day. That's my own perception of it. Because it's something that is supposed to occupy the front burner before everybody, that look, what we are doing is not right. To retirees, they are senior citizens. They are not supposed to suffer when they leave. Their drugs, their health care, because some will need nurses on a regular at that age. But suddenly, their lives just nosedives. For those who have children who are able to take care of them, good for them. But you can imagine those who probably don't have any around them again. Contributory pension, at that time,
I want to.
a lot of people, I left because of it. That's the truth. Because I said a system that cannot manage effectively the old order cannot be sincere about contributory pension. As we speak in Osun today, people who retired, they are just giving them bonds. Who does that? Whereas you are supposed to have deducted this money from their income, you are supposed to have added your own. That's all. That was all that was required when it started.
And
but I said,
government chops all.
no, your own contributions, they've eaten it up. The one they are supposed to add, they did not add it. And when you go to your pension administrator, they tell you, look, your money did not come in. So we cannot put you on our payroll. Imagine, until the current administration in Osun, that's the truth. I always told people, I said, look, okay, they have salary. You know, they've been doing that now. But you can imagine, as far back as 2016, 2017, somebody left service, collected 180,000, his last salary, March 2017. And from then till 2022, he did not take a penny again from government. April, May, same year, nothing. Because they have not processed his papers. Even if they process it, he cannot get a bond because those ahead of him are still in line.
So, your last go to the next topic.
Yeah, I think I will still reiterate one thing. No matter whether you're a pensioner or you are a worker in government service or you are in active service, if you don't have a conducive environment to work in, you will not survive. And so I believe government has this latitude to improve our environment, to make sure that people can eat 3 even if just 2 square meals in a day.
And not 3.
And not 3. If just 2 that they can survive on. Some cannot even reach 1 now.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. And so with these kind of things, if you don't have regular water supply, regular electricity, we have solar in this country that you can use. Instead of being given the option now to start their own power supply. And I can bet you that a lot of states will not even think about that now. And that's where to make money too. They won't think about it now. Until people start shouting, people start crying. And so that's why people say the government that we have in Nigeria today is not responsive to people's yearnings. And until they are responsive, you cannot get anywhere.
Sorry, I'm going to the second topic, and I'm starting from you. Federal subsidy removal, census postponement, etc. Buhari hands over top issues to the income administration.
You see, it is a little bit sad that he had to come to the reality.
Okay.
There was no basis for the outgoing government to cluster itself around with all these major capital intensive exercises. You want to hold election, that is mandatory. So we have no choice. Census, we want to run a census. What have we been doing since 2006 when we took the last one?
More than a decade.
If I were the president, immediately I got my mandate for 2020.
2015 or 2019. 2019.
Yes, I would have been planning towards it because it is very, very essential. But you know, this is a situation in which we have boxed ourselves into a situation that you can't say this man knows this person, or if you want to count the people of say Benue State, if you are not careful, their population must have been decimated, and some of the people who as what do you call it,
Usurpers.
Yes, usurpers, but positively those who are in camps, you count them IDPs. 2-3 months later, they go back to their own states and things like that. So it is the best decision. I commend the National Council for federal, not federal.
National Economic Council.
Yes, they were. Yes.
Okay.
You see, this is not the time for all these wahala. If we have come census-less all these 17 years, what's wrong in just helping us? Making us give some 9 months, 1 calendar year, and then we go into census. So it is, the government was biting more than it could chew, and so sanity has prevailed, and it is good that we have postponed it. It should be indefinite. Let's come and see. Population is not what concerns us now. Okay. What concerns us is food production and food to eat.
Larry, the one of those you aside the census is the petroleum subsidy removal. There is this statistic that 3.36 trillion naira was budgeted to subsidize petrol the first 6 months of this year, meaning it only June, And in 2021, August 2021, the Federal Executive Council budgeted or approved $1.48 billion for Warri and Kaduna refineries. And we are still battling with removing subsidy. And this comment by the NSC too, NSC said, I'm quoting there now, the first subsidy removal by any government is a recipe for social and economic crisis.
Yes, a recipe for social and economic crisis. And truth is, we have been in that socio-economic crisis already. We have been in it, deeply in it.
Long before now.
Long before now. Now, the subsidy regime, recall when I started, was called a scam. And when they came, they had to do it as, okay, now we know we now have to do the subsidy thing. But the truth of the matter, let's go back to it. You said it just 2022, $1.8 billion budgeted for, and the funds were deployed.
For Kaduna
and Warri refinery. I will now tell you how realistic and sensible it is. Let's all look at it. To construct from start to finish a refinery that can meet the need of Nigeria, we need about $15 billion. Now, for one budget, year's budget, we're talking about $1.8 billion for those two refineries. That, now look at it this way. This is Osbc. You recall there was an engine room at the back of this building that runs a computer stuff for your engines. But now you see some of these things are reducing. If you go to a computer room 20 years ago, you have like some 50 big machines, huge like that. But gradually technology has brought these things. So the Warri refinery, in essence, has machines that more like are moribund. It's old technology. You cannot use analog in a digital age. Why not look for modern, small space like this? Machines will do the refining thing. But we are now saying so it was just job for the boys, that money was budgeted for and must have been used for it, and not a drop, not a liter of petrol from those refineries. So all those ones are just macabre dance in the market square. It led to nowhere. How can we say we have run as a people for that period of time without a single one of the refineries functional, without anyone coming boldly by way of an emergency to say we must have a refinery in Nigeria? And so we give our oil out and people sell back to us as finished product at their own expensive costing. That's what led to the so-called regime of subsidy we are talking about. What do we have? We have oil. What people do, look at China. China had a turnaround when it said, what we cannot produce, we will not consume. We have population. If you think because of our population, you want to do business with us, then come and establish here. And the Trumps of this world took their factories to China. Because in America, like I said the other time, you pay $8 per hour, you work 8 hours in a day, you multiply $8 times 8 hours. Whereas if you take your factory to China, you work $2 a day, a whole day. Not even to the, so the Chinese people, by the time they convert your American dollar to their own yen, is enough to take the person for like a week. So they do the job. The products are now produced, and the next thing you see is now those made in China that comes to Africa, is those made in China that goes to East Asia and the rest of them.
Even to America.
Even to America, to parts of America. All they do is standard test.
Yes.
If it's coming from China, fine. If it's the quality of what we do, Standards Organization will pass it, yes, and it will enter America. So you see in America Chinese phone, but the Chinese phone you buy in America, the quality will be different from the one they brought to Africa. The same product. You hold them, you see that the weight is different, because for American system, it must pass through the litmus test. But the cost of production in China is very low. However, by the time they now all moved their factories to China, do you get? By the time we moved all their factories to China, China now decided, okay, our people's wages must go up. Do you understand? You use what you have to get what you want. We have oil. Why? Look, let me tell you, sir. If Nigerian government had been proactive enough, they would have brought people in to do refineries and say, look, we give you oil tax-free. you get our oil, you pay normal Nigerian rate for our oil, but you must produce here, and 90% of your products must be sold here. Simple. But then we didn't do all of that. We just started budgeting and wasting resources. Now we are here where we are today.
What will you do stop it? We used to talk of modular refineries.
Yeah, I was coming to that. Yeah, I thought we would have talked about the modular refineries. You see, if you look at it very well, even countries where they don't have oil, they import oil and they use modular refinery system to refine their oil. And modular refinery will cost you far, far less and will employ more people in like what they call cooperative societies.
But the Nigerian government is not encouraging them.
That's what I'm saying. Now, if you do that, that will cost you far less. People will gain more from it, and even the end users will gain more from that kind of system. But you're not doing that. Look at, and that what they are not doing now is what has led Dangote to build a refinery in Nigeria here. What government should have, in fact, the money Dangote used to build that refinery, you have wasted, in fact, 3 times that money on our useless refineries in Nigeria without bringing out anything. And yet we are waiting that as soon as Dangote starts producing now, Nigeria will not depend on Dangote. And do you know the percentage of what Dangote has? Government has a percentage of that kind of thing. And what they will be paying Dangote will be much more than what they can use in building refineries there. And the refineries we are supposed to build now, it's not the kind of refineries that we have these days. They are small refineries that would give you what you want. The messages have changed. As it has changed everything. But we're not doing that. And today, if the incoming president will do well, I will tell him, sell the refineries that we have. Take proceeds from the sales. Build modular refineries. Don't, if anybody wants to produce those refineries, let the individuals go ahead and produce. But build modular refineries in each of these states that have oil, and give people licenses to produce these refineries, so that we start getting more, and much more money will come into these coffers.
So we were speaking about sensors. We were speaking about petrol subsidy. The unity of the country. The unity of this country.
Yeah. It's at stake.
One of those things, the argument.
Oh yes. Oh no.
And of course, the bread drink.
There is nothing the outgoing government can hand over anymore. Nigerians have taken their decisions. They have taken. We have come. It is the new leadership that will come and rebuild. We have so much polarized ourselves in the last, particularly in the last 4 years, and much in the last 2 years, that free speech is everywhere. Polarization. I am this. I am that. I am that. It is so. Right now, the current government, which has less than 1 month to go, cannot do anything.
In fact, handing over now.
What is he handing over? He's
security,
not. No. Those ones
unity, brain drain.
How does he hand over that? These are more.
He's handing over. Is that? He's handing over.
You have to take everything.
Okay.
Okay. That's what I say.
Okay. Hand over. Yeah. To that extent, you are right. But if I were the incoming, I would not even take that handover. I will begin afresh. You see, we have to rebuild.
So how do you remove the unity, security, the Japa syndrome?
No.
The face of Nigeria.
No, you see,
That's will
come to. Oh yes, it has always been there. Or people have been Japaing long time ago, but the rate of now is alarming. That's go back to the 1950s. Go back to the 1960s. People were going. And they went and
but they are not Japan at that time. They are not coming back.
Yes. But if you are not produce what will make me come back to stay.
I won't come back.
That's why that threat to the doctors, it's childish. You have not given the man and you say he must stay in this country for 5 years before he can travel. What the hell is that?
Shall we go to the last topic? Larry, I'm back to you. The last topic. Federal government hikes taxes. Nigerians to pay more for vehicle, alcohol, telecom, and when I was telling Swale now that he is handing over, somebody said the outgoing government is also giving parting task gift.
He should have done it 6 months ago. That's where we know. But this one, it is preparing. When the man comes with his administration, he will have to find a way of jettisoning some of these.
I don't like to tell me already proposed. So another tax relief, tax gift.
Now, one thing I know is I believe historians should be taking note of what is happening to Nigeria. You see, because history is to record events, and when you are recording events, it's in some cases, decades, it might be times of a regime. In Nigeria, 4 years for a government. If it has 2 terms, you write down the history of what has gone through
8 years.
in the 8 years. Now, you are talking about tax. You are taxing a people who have been at the receiving end of your economic policy, the flip-flop of your economic policies. Their lives have been down like ×4 because of policies of the administration. Don't also forget that the administration is one that is on record that in 2022, 90-something% of the income was used to service debt. So you are going away from a hugely indebted nation whose purchasing power of its citizens, the GDP has gone drastically, and you are now parting gift of tax on them. Tax on vehicles. Let me now give you an insight, and that's part of the things you are saying. The nation is highly polarized now because it looks like there are first class and second class citizens in the same country. Yes, people were clamoring and saying insecurity has not been tackled, and that's why service chiefs should go. Do you know what happened? Yes, they said, okay, we are shouting about service chiefs, we'll take them off. They removed service chiefs and made them ambassadors. For doing good job or what? And look at Republic of Benin. Practical example. Republic of Benin, if you are there, it's cheaper for you to get to buy a car because they have, the greatest asset they have is that they have a seashore. Yeah. So you can buy a car cheaply.
Don't we have?
But let me now tell you how it works. In Cotonou, if you buy a 2022 car in 2023, what you will pay to bring in your 2022 car is what I will pay to bring in my 1999 car. 480,000 CFA cheaply across board, because I can afford to buy a car of 1 million and use the 480,000 to clear it. You can buy a car of 20 million because that's the main industry that you don't have to invest much in. However, if you are in Nigeria, you are buying a 2022 car, they can tell you it's 10 million you have to pay. So people prefer to go to Cotonou. We are boosting the economy of that place because they are more reasonable about it. What does it cost them? The ships will back, they drop their... However, they now closed one border so that those things cannot come to this side. And vehicles are going to other parts through Niger. That's one. They closed that border, made one of our service chiefs that people said they should remove for not providing security to come and be ambassador at the closed border to the Republic. Wait, let me get to the bottom of this. Yes, time is against us. So people are watching that. That's why we are highly polarized. You are robbing poor Peter to pay Paul. That is not happening to us, and it's happening in other places, and they are getting it cheap. You still get places up north where they buy rice cheaper, and we are paying more here. So it's not helping matters.
Effect of production on taxes.
Yeah, you see, most producers today, let me confess to you, they are not paying taxes. They are not really paying taxes. But how many producers do you have in Nigeria today? A lot of these production companies have moved elsewhere because at that time they felt the environment was not conducive enough for them. Those who are paying taxes today are the average worker, the average civil servant, the average
because it's
because from the daughter from source. So these are the people paying taxes. If you go to these factories that you have in Nigeria today, the factories that are still producing in Nigeria today, go and look at what they declare as profit. Go and look at what they declare as after what do you call it? After sales. After sales, when you have the job is starts from after sales, and also what they do is they take a lot of. If you are paying you 1 million now to advertise my company now, when I want to declare my tax, I will tell you I paid you 5 million. And that's why they close the tax and they are not paying much. And if government can tax these people very well, Nigeria will be better. Moreover, if you are talking about vehicles, tax on vehicles. I would have expected that the government will say, okay, there are Nigerian engineers that are very good, that are already producing cars, solar engine cars in Nigeria today. Why don't you harness these people into kind of cooperative thing? Give them enough resources to start producing solar-powered cars. Any people who is buying from Puton will stop. Any people who is buying at exorbitant rates through the ports will stop, because we have what is affordable here in Nigeria and that is still maintainable. So the government is not doing that, and I thought that's what they should do. If they do that and increase the taxes on cars, nobody will be ready to buy cars imported from Britain or imported from US again, because we have affordable cars in Nigeria that can run not on fuel this time around, but on God-given solar. They are doing in Kaduna there. There are so many taxis in Kaduna now, so many of these Koroko buses that are running on solar. Some people are doing it in Ibadan here on solar. So why don't you harness these people? Give them enough incentive to go ahead and produce cars that will be affordable for Nigerians, and then we'll be able to move.
So, I want to back to you and your last take on this. A tax expert, I want you to maybe justify it or has accused the government of policy inconsistency. Approve a particular tax rate today, you withdraw it, change it over a period, you remove tax from it, you give tax, like on alcohol, you say 10% today, tomorrow on vehicle you say 10%, later you say tax free.
So well thought of, that's all.
You see, with all respect, due respect as we say it in Nigeria, we have not in the last 6 years had a good
tax administration.
Yes, I mean the Minister of Finance has not been fully in charge. It's unfortunate, very unfortunate. And then you don't blame her much. I don't know her pedigree. I don't know, but you see, compare her style with what the young woman from Ogun State.
Yes.
The difference is clear.
Right.
That woman appeared to have known her onions, but Nigeria happened to her, and so she had to leave. Nigeria happened to her.
Okay.
That's it.
Maybe some other time. To be able to explain how Nigeria happened to her.
No, we must look. This man, our next president, Nigerians must be ready for higher taxes. If he wants to make it, Tinubu will come with very high taxes. And we must enjoy. We must enjoy it.
Sir, let's be realistic so that we will not make a mistake. When we are talking about higher tax, those who are still producing here will continue to produce. It's value-added tax that comes on purchasing. When you are purchasing, you pay. Those people will have factored it on. So it's going to make life hard for people. Now, when factories that still produce, they don't have electricity from the grid, they run on diesel. Diesel is selling at 800 naira per liter. From like 200 naira. So all of this go back into the cost of production. And goods are not allowed to come in.
Infrastructure.
I know he will increase taxes. He's an accountant. He will increase taxes. But you see, the best thing, you see, let him develop this tendency of robbing Peter to pay Paul. Rob the
robbing them.
I mean, take it from them.
Okay.
The elderly, the elite class of Nigeria.
Yes.
The Robin Hood.
Yes.
Ahmed Tinubu must be our modern Robin Hood. Carry the money from them up there, bring it to the lower rounds, so that they can eat 3 square meals.
We have said, I did say, and I keep on saying, Tuesday edition, veteran edition, good, excellent, enjoyable. Small.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. But I want to ask, tell the incoming president to provide infrastructure facilities. Otherwise,
I pray we move in the right direction so that Nigerians can enjoy Nigeria.
Until tomorrow when we go to back in the newsroom. My name is Osbc. Good evening.